Hi and welcome to the next part of Lee Baker's build for Smugwood Mini on his 1293 classic mini engine. The engine's been rebored, plus 20 to 1293cc. Got the new pistons, got the new camshafts, got the new, reground crankshaft, new shell bearings, thrust washers, followers, etc. So I'm going to get all the stuff together, get it all ready, and we'll start putting the crankshaft in. Okay, next job is to fit the crank main bearings. Now the ones I use are these Marla Motorsport bearings. They're very high quality. There you go. Okay. Now some of the eagle-eyed viewers might notice I haven't painted the back of the block yet. That will be done soon. Right, get these bearings out of the packet. Okay. Right, on the A+ engines, the bearings that go into the actual block, which I'll show you just now, they've got an offset. They're offset to the side. I don't know if you can see that, like a little dimple here. These ones go into the block. You can't really get it wrong, but you'd be surprised. Okay, just place these in. You don't put any lubricant on the block to fit these. They go in dry. I have seen people put lubricants in on these underneath the bearing, and it causes clearance issues. So never ever do that. Okay, get a length-free cloth, and will you stop bibbing your horn outside, please? Give those a clean out. Just a little bit of brake cleaner on there. I'm probably getting in your way now, aren't I? A little bit of brake cleaner on there. Just give them a wipe. Next thing, a bit of lubricant. I use Miller's assembly lube for this. Okay, just give that a little bit of a wipe round with a clean glove. You don't need loads of this on there, just enough to, basically it protects it. So if the engine's going to be sat around for a bit after it's been built, then the normal oil will drain away, but this won't. It's really gooey and it will stay exactly where you put it. Okay, right, next, crankshaft. Grab your crank, carefully drop it in there, give it a twizzle. Right, now on to the next step, which will be preparing the conrods. No, it won't. It'll be preparing the caps for the crank. Okay, next job is the crankshaft caps. Same sort of thing as the crank, really, or block. You notice these caps or shell bearings have got the notch in the center. So just place them into the cap. Repeat the same thing with the other two. I have already cleaned these out, by the way, to save time on the video. Okay. Just drop the bolts in there. Okay. Right, number 3. Same again, give them a wipe. A little bit of just brake cleaner, because obviously brake cleaner evaporates, so it doesn't leave any residue on the actual bearing face itself. Just give it a quick wipe, that's all. Okay. Bit of assembly lube on there. Just a spot. Now when you put these caps on, they only go on one way around. So basically, where the notch is in the centre there on the cap, it must meet the notch on the crankshaft side. So it only goes on one way, which is that away. Tap down. Take this. That's it. Just do these finger tight for now. Okay. I normally put the two end ones in first because the centre needs the thrust washers fitted. So a little bit of assembly lube on that one, the other end. You can't really get the end ones the wrong way around because they literally will only go in one way around. Give that a bit of a tap. Right, we'll go on to the next step. Okay, right, the next step is the thrust washers for the crankshaft. Now I use these ones, they're MPR, high quality again. All of these products are supplied by MAR Motorsport. I get all of my bearings and pistons and stuff like that from them. First things first, we put the bottom ones in first. Now I'm not going to put any lubricant on these because I need to do the crank end float, and if you put lubricant on them it can alter the measurement. So I always lubricate them after I've done the crank end float. So this copper face goes towards the crank side here. Don't put it towards the block, which I've seen people do in the past. So the copper face goes out, faces outwards. The steel backed face goes towards the block. So just basically slide those in. That one. Knock the crank across a bit. Steel side to facing the block. Pop that one in. Like, come on, like that. So that's that done. Okay, next step, fit the centre main cap. Now you can get this one the wrong way around, but like I said earlier on, with the little notches, they must be on the same side as each other. So the notch on this is on that side of the block, so the cap goes in that way around. Okay, I haven't put any lubricant on this bearing, I've put it on the crank instead. So steel backed part of the thrust washer against the cap. There's a little notch in the top for you to get it in, so you can't get it wrong. Okay, so just slide that down. tap. Started. Just nick these up because they're going to be torqued in a minute. Just nip them up, don't do them tight, just a quick nip, and make sure the crank still turns okay, which it does. Okay, now for the end flows, which will be the next step. Okay, I've set the dial test indicator on the end of the crankshaft. Now I'm just going to check the end flow of the crank. 4 thou. Perfect. Okay, the next job is to set the torque on your main cap bolts, which is 65 foot-pounds. That's it, job done. Next job is to fit the new bearings. You can just about see their marler again, same as the main bearings. Same procedure, put them into the cap, give them a wipe over for the cap and the rod. Just slide it in like that, and the same with the cap. Now it's the same story with these, because you'll see the little cutout there, and it's the same cutout as the cap. These must go on so they're the same size as each other. Okay. Now the tool that I use to put the pistons in with is this. It's from MED. Swift Tune do them as well. It's an easy, basically it's makes life a lot easier for yourself. The first thing to do, give the piston rings a damn good coating of assembly lube, or you can use oil. I prefer to use engine lube. Okay, give that a spread around your finger. Then insert that into the piston ring tool rather. Goes in just like that. Make sure the rings aren't caught up. That just pushes down like that, and that's now compress those piston rings. Make sure your crank journal on number 1 is at bottom dead center. Get your assembly lube, a little bit on the bearing. Spread that around, put the piston into the cylinder ball like that. Now these should just push down like that. Now I'm just going to repeat that process with the other 3 pistons, because basically it's all exactly the same, and then I'll do up the bolts, do up the caps at the bottom. Also always remember to stagger the rings, so you gap that side and then on the top ring gap the other side, and the oil ring. As long as there's no gaps, you'll be fine. Okay, just about to put the last piston into the block. Got some lube on the bearing. Put it in there like that. Dead flat. There you go, straight in. Okay, next step is to do up your bolts for the big ends. These are set to 38 pounds-foot of torque. We'll just do them up a little bit at a time. That's it. Just double check it. Just do them up equally. That's it. Now when you've done two, either one or two of them, just make sure that you can still spin the crank round. It's going to be a bit tight obviously because there's new rings and stuff in it. Well, not tight, but it shouldn't have any real drag on it as such. So that's spinning round. That's it. No tight spots. I'll just do the same again with your last two. Should put a bolt on the other end of the crank really to do that, but I'll just double check those again. Don't force them anymore, just as long as it clicks or makes a bleep, depends on whether you've got a digital torque wrench or not. I'll just put a bolt in the end of that crank actually so I can spin it over a little bit easier. One. There should be able to spin that around. Just do the bolt up. There you go, no tight spots. I'm not really putting a load of pressure on this, but there will be a bit of friction obviously because the rings are new. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to double check all of those again. Don't put any more pressure on it, just so it clicks. I'm going to check the other two. Right, there you go folks, one bottom end, well, pistons and crank fitted. Right, on the next episode I shall be fitting the followers and the camshaft. Well, thanks for watching, I'll see you on the next one.